Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel, man. It's all about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, guys, bending reality. And in this video, man, we're going to talk about LeBron James and his first 6 NBA Finals appearances, guys. We're going to talk about the first 6 NBA Finals appearances from 2007 to 2014, right? When he was on his Miami Heat super team and the first, including that first year in 2007. We're going to talk about the first 6 NBA championships of LeBron James, the first finals that he went to, and we're going to compare that because they always want to talk about LeBron James playing against super teams. And we're going to talk about the first 6 NBA finals that he was in, and LeBron James went 2-4 in those NBA finals, not going against any super teams. And LeBron James, in fact, himself was playing on a super team for 5 of those championships, guys. We're going to talk about it in this video. And I just want to thank you guys, man, everyone across the world. Everyone across the states has been supporting my channel, guys. Once again, I am truly, truly humbled, guys, by all the support, man. It really means a lot. You know, you guys, like I said, it's truly humbling, guys. You guys sharing the comments, man, liking the video, subscribing, man. It means a lot. Thank you, everybody in the membership. You guys donating to the channel. Once again, I'm not here for the money or the fame, guys. It's all about setting the record straight, man. So much respect to all the true basketball fans that are standing up. Like I said, it really means a lot. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, man, I wanted to talk about LeBron James, man, and this idea that the LeBron James fans always talk about when they want to excuse his NBA Finals losses. They always are, who did Michael Jordan play that was better than the 2017 Warriors? You know, they always love to bring up the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant as this formidable, unbeatable team. And I give them examples of times where the Golden State Warriors were getting beat down. Right? I talked about the 2017 Western Conference Finals, Game 1 against the San Antonio Spurs. They were getting beat down by 20-plus points, guys, in the third quarter. They were getting manhandled. Manhandled, guys, by the Spurs. Until Zaza Pachulia took out Kawhi Leonard's knee. Those are the facts, guys. In 2018, those very unbeatable Warriors were down 3-2 to James Harden and Chris Paul. James Harden and Chris Paul, who are 2 of the biggest playoff chokers of their era. They were down 3-2, and Chris Paul went down in injury. And James Harden choked it up. And the Warriors beat them in 7 games. These are the unbeatable Warriors that the LeBron James fans are always talking about. Oh, Michael Jordan never played no team like that. Never played no team that was losing to James Harden and Chris Paul. You're telling me that Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen couldn't beat those teams? Are you kidding me? Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, or Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant. Those 2-3-peat Bulls couldn't beat those teams? I'm not impressed with the Warriors, man. They were a great team, but they were not unbeatable like the LeBron James fans want you to believe. But if we want to take it a step further, let's think about the first several NBA Finals LeBron James was in. Michael Jordan was 6-0, played in 6 NBA Finals. All LeBron James fans want to talk about how many times he went there. They don't want to talk about the losses or the teams that he actually went against and the teams that he was actually on in comparison to those teams. So once again, they want to highlight LeBron James carrying bums in 07, and that's been debunked many, many times over. The video footage is there. Go watch the games in the NBA Finals of 2007. Watch LeBron James, and you tell me he didn't stink it up. He stunk it up. But they want to give an age excuse all these years later for LeBron James. But when we do the same thing for other great players, and we talk about their age, they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the age of LeBron James, of Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, or James Harden in the 2012 NBA Finals. No, they don't want to talk about age then. They don't want to talk about the age of Kawhi Leonard in the 2013 or the 2014 NBA Finals. No, they don't want to talk about age then. They don't want to talk about the lack of experience from the 2015 Golden State Warriors, who didn't have one single player on that team with any finals experience. And they were still able to beat LeBron James' Cleveland Cavaliers. And they'll use the injuries excuse when LeBron James had his super team and the Golden State Warriors were not a super team at all. So if we think about some of these games, if we think about some of these series, and we think about LeBron James in his first several NBA Finals, we think about 2007, right? He loses in 2007. Then in 2011, he loses again. So his first 2 NBA Finals, he's 0-2. He's 0-2, man. 2012, they beat, once again, the young Oklahoma City Thunder that no one wants to mention their age, but they'll bring up LeBron James' age to excuse him in 2007. You see how it goes, guys? It's hypocrisy at its finest. So now he's 1-2 in the NBA Finals. They win again in 2013 against the San Antonio Spurs off of a Ray Allen shot, right, to send it into overtime, and then once again to lead them into a game six. But they don't want to talk about in the overtime how Ray Allen had more points in the overtime than LeBron James did. Do they want to talk about that for the game 6 overtime? No, they don't want to talk about that. And Ray Allen shot. They don't want to give Chris Bosh any credit for that offensive rebound. Right, I believe one of the 3 or 4 offensive rebounds he had during that game. Right, they don't want to talk about LeBron James. Right, what was he, 1 for 7 from 3-point range in game 6? Right, and he still decided to take that 3-point shot before Ray Allen took that shot. He still decided to take that shot, even though he hadn't been making any 3-point shots during that game. He still thought he was going to be the best guy to shoot that shot. Insane from LeBron James. But they don't want to talk about Ray Allen during that series and give Ray Allen any credit for the things that he did. They don't want to talk about Mike Miller, right, and some of the things that Mike Miller did for LeBron James in the 2012 NBA Finals or the 2013 NBA Finals in Game 6 when Mike Miller, in fact, hit several threes. I believe he hit 1 3 in that fourth quarter with no shoe on. You guys remember that play? Mike Miller lost his shoe and then came down and hit a 3-pointer on the other end without his shoe on. Right? I think he was 2 for 2 from 3-point range, hit the 3 in the fourth quarter, right, to keep the Miami Heat in striking distance during that game. They don't want to talk about these things. They don't want to talk about Mike Miller shooting like 61% from 3-point range during the finals. They don't want to talk about these things. They don't want to talk about Shane Battier. So we think about LeBron James going 2-2 now in the NBA Finals, right? After he lost the first 2, then he won the second 2 on back-to-backs. And then they would lose again in 2014 to a San Antonio Spurs team that a lot of people, I think, to me, have overrated. The San Antonio Spurs of 2014. And why do I say that? The San Antonio Spurs were a very good team. They were an excellent team. But once again, let's tell the facts here. The San Antonio Spurs went 7 games with the Dallas Mavericks, the 2014 Dallas Mavericks. No one talks about this. The 2014 San Antonio Spurs, guys, that beat down the Miami Heat, LeBron James super team Heat, in the finals by record margin, mind you, 4-1, went 7 games with the 2014 Dallas Mavericks with Dirk Nowitzki, who was like damn near 40 years old, right? You had not only Dirk Nowitzki at that age, but you also had Vince Carter on that team. You had Devin Harris, I believe, was the point guard for that Dallas Mavericks team. These are the players you had on that team, man. They went 7 games. I think who was the center? Samuel Dallenberg, I want to say, was the center of that team. They went 7 games with that team. That's no knock on the Dallas Mavericks. They went 7 games with the 8-seeded Mavericks. 7 games. And the Mavericks were actually up 2-1 in that series. If I remember correctly, they were up 2-1. And the Spurs had to come back to beat them in 7 games. It's crazy. The Spurs, I believe, lost 6 games during that entire playoff run. But they want to talk about the 2014 Spurs, one of the greatest teams of all time. Oh, man, he played against the 2014 Spurs. They went 7 games with the Dallas Mavericks, man. So the Dallas Mavericks with Dirk Nowitzki, Vince Carter, they were able to push that San Antonio Spurs team 7 games. But Miami Heat, LeBron James, Miami Heat super team, couldn't even win more than 1 game and get beat by a record margin in the games that they lost. Once again, exposing LeBron James, not maximizing his teammates, doing less with more, and exposing the competition that he actually went against. Yes, the Spurs were a very good team, but once again, they were not unbeatable. They're not the greatest team of all time. And once again, LeBron James was playing on his made-up super team that he put together with guys like Rashard Lewis, Shane Battier. Then no one wants to bring up Shane Battier's name in the game that he played, the 3-and-D that he was doing out there. They don't want to bring up Rashard Lewis, right? And him being out there knocking down shots. They don't want to talk about Mario Chalmers. Is Mario Chalmers a lesser player than a B.J. Armstrong? They're basically the equivalent of each other. B.J. Armstrong, Mario Chalmers, same person. Michael Jordan won 3 in a row with B.J. Armstrong as his point guard. John Paxson as his point guard. Mayo Chalmers. Like I said, other guys like Udonis Haslam stepping up. Mike Miller stepping up. Ray Allen stepping up. We haven't even mentioned Chris Bosh or Dwayne Wade. Those are the other guys I'm talking about. Birdman Anderson that were helping LeBron James out there. Going against a young Oklahoma City Thunder team that Gilbert Arenas himself said like a fool that the NBA gave him that championship. Gilbert Arenas says the NBA gave LeBron James a championship in 2012. We're supposed to be impressed with him beating Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. On paper, it sounds impressive, just like everything else with LeBron James on paper. In the video footage, not impressive at all. Beating the baby Oklahoma City Thunder that they never want to use the age for them, but they use the age excuse of LeBron James in 2007. They don't want to talk about that stuff. Right? Nope. They don't want to talk about LeBron James in 2011. They don't want to talk about that anymore. Right? They don't want to talk about that. All the help that he got in 2011. Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. All these guys helping out. LeBron James. They don't want to talk about that stuff. Nope. They're talking about LeBron James playing against super teams. He did not play in super teams in his first 6 finals. I mean, what are we talking about here? He did not play a super team in 2015, guys. The Golden State Warriors 2015 are not a super team. The 2016 Warriors were not a super team. They were a team that was built through drafts. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green. And they built around their core. Right? You bring in Andrew Bogut's. Right? You bring in an Andre Iguodala. You bring in a Sean Livingston. You bring in a Leandro Barbosa. Right? You bring in some of these guys that were considered journeymen. Leandro Barbosa was considered a journeyman. Andrew Bogut had played on several teams. Sean Livingston, the dude, his career, people thought he was done. He had devastating injury. But he found a home on Golden State. You drafted Harrison Barnes, and they were able to win. That's not a super team. When LeBron James played the Golden State Warriors in 2015 and 2016, he had the super team. It was the Cavaliers, guys, that were, in fact, the preseason favorites to win the championship, not the Golden State Warriors, guys. Even after they won in 2015, the very next season, guys, you would think they would be the favorite to win. They were not the favorite again. It was the Cleveland Cavaliers were the favorite again in 2016 to win the championship because everyone figured if Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving didn't get hurt, they would have won. And why is that? Because they had a super team going against the Golden State Warriors who had never won anything, had no experience. That was their first championship. When people talk about LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers coming back from 3-1 deficit, we always laugh and say, why were they even down 3-1? You were on a stacked team. Not just Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, but you had guys, quality role players, like Iman Shumpert, who gave effort on both sides of the ball. Yeah, he was known for being a kind of a bonehead out there, Iman Shumpert. Every team's got one. But the man was out there giving the effort, and he did his role. You had guys like J.R. Smith, once again, maybe a bonehead, never known for his high IQ, but he was a great athlete, and once again, he did other things on the court. He could knock down the shot. He was a great athlete on the break. Right? He could do things, finish at the rim. And he gave effort on the defensive end. He bought in and gave effort to hustle. And you had guys like Tristan Thompson do the dirty work, a double-double machine at that time. Right? You had the Matthew Dellavedovas, the hustle guys. Right? You had a Richard Jefferson coming off the bench. You had quality role players, guys to do their jobs outside of the main stars. The 2015 and 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers were a super team compared to the Golden State Warriors and the way that they were constructed. And LeBron James should have won both of those. He was up 2 games to 1 in 2015, and what happened? He allowed Andre Iguodala, a bench player, a role guy, come in and steal his shine. But they want to talk about, Michael Jordan never played anybody the 2017 Warriors. The same 2017 Warriors that they never want to talk about was down by 20-plus points in Game 1 to the Kawhi Leonard Spurs without Tim Duncan. No Tim Duncan there. It was Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge. And I was watching that game. I could not believe the Golden State Warriors had no answer for Kawhi Leonard. He could do anything he wanted out there. This is prime Kawhi Leonard. That might have been Kawhi Leonard at his peak. 2016-17 Kawhi Leonard, man, going in that NBA Finals during that run, the man was sensational. They were beating down the Warriors. They were down by 25 points, guys, in the third quarter. And then Zaza Pachulia stuck his foot out on Kawhi Leonard's shot, and Kawhi Leonard never came back. And that was it. The Warriors came back on them. As soon as he went out, guys, changed the whole series just like that. And like I mentioned, the 2018 Warriors that LeBron James couldn't beat, that he was swept by in the finals, went 7 games with the James Harden, Chris Paul Rockets. And once again, the Rockets should have beaten them, but James Harden does what James Harden always does, or did what James Harden always does, and he stunk it up. And Chris Paul does what he always does. He got hurt. He wasn't durable. He wasn't out there when it mattered. And they were down 3-2. Remember that. They were down 3-2, guys. But these are the unbeatable teams that LeBron James was facing in the finals. Once again, LeBron James losing more than he won. Losing more than he won. Never above 500 in the NBA Finals. Never once, guys. Even though he played a super team for most of his NBA Finals. Basically all of his NBA Finals except for one. He was on a super team. 2020 was a super team, guys. When you talk about putting the team together, having Anthony Davis request a trade to come to your team, that's a super team build right there. And you get a Rajon Rondo, a Dwight Howard on your team, super team right there. You name me another time in NBA history that one of the top 5 players in the league requested a trade off of his team and joined up with another all-time great player like that. Name another time, guys, in history. It's never happened. That's LeBron James forming a super team. And who did they play in the 2020 NBA Finals? Can anybody tell me who he played in the 2020 NBA Finals? The 2020 Miami Heat? The 2020 Miami Heat, guys. Think about that. That's who they played in the NBA Finals. Michael Jordan never had the luxury of playing against a team like the 2020 Heat. And not only did he play against a much weaker team, right? But half the team was injured. Bam Adebayo missed like 2 games. Goran Dragic missed like 4 games. And they went 6 games still without their best players. It was Jimmy Butler and guys like Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero out there. It's crazy, guys. You guys know the deal, man. These are the facts here. They love to talk about Michael Jordan and all this other nonsense. Who did he play? Who did he beat? He wouldn't have been able to beat this team that LeBron James faced. They always want to talk about the teams that LeBron James lost to. They always want to know who he lost to. They don't want to talk about who LeBron James actually beat. Who did he really beat in the finals? And they really don't want to talk about some of the teams that he lost to. They don't want to talk about the facts, the context behind those teams. Like I told you guys, the 2014 Spurs were a very good team. But they went 7 games with the number 8 seed Dallas Mavericks, guys. Can you guys tell me who was on the Dallas Mavericks? I told you guys, who was on that Dallas Mavericks team? How old was Dirk Nowitzki? Just as old as Tim Duncan was. Right? Who was on that team? Devin Harris? Who was on that team? I'm trying to remember who was on. Like I said, Samuel Dallenberg was on that team. Vince Carter was on that team. I believe every starter, I think Jose Calderon actually, might have been the starting point guard on that team. I feel like every starter except for maybe one of them was over 32 years old. Like Vince Carter, Dirk Nowitzki, Samuel Dallenberg, Jose Calderon, and then there was somebody else, man. But they went 7 games with those 2014 Spurs that they want you to believe was this formidable team that beat the Miami Heat by record margin. That's how weak LeBron James' Eastern Conference was, guys. That's how weak it was. The Spurs went 7 games with the number 8 seed Mavericks and beat down the number 1 seed Miami Heat by record margin in the finals. That was LeBron James' Eastern Conference in a nutshell, guys. These are the facts, man. No one's impressed with LeBron James' finals wins. No one wants to hear about the teams he lost to and how good they were, because they weren't as good or as great as they want you to believe. They were good teams, but they weren't unbeatable. Michael Jordan went against very great teams in the finals. The Suns were a great team. The Utah Jazz were a very formidable and great team that beat great teams en route to the championship. The same thing with the Chicago Bulls. It wasn't just about the competition in the finals for Michael Jordan and the Bulls, but about the competition in the Eastern Conference that LeBron James fans and LeBron James himself, they know nothing about. They never want to talk about. He was going against real teams, real NBA legends. Not Paul George, not DeMar DeRozan, not Paul Millsap and Kyle Korver. You know what I'm saying? Like, not these guys. He was going against legit guys. Hall of Famers, Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, Charles Barkley in the Eastern Conference, Dominique Wilkins in the Eastern Conference, battling these guys year after year. Those are just the facts, guys. You guys know the deal, man. You guys know the deal on this channel, man. LeBron James and the competition that he went against in those first 6 NBA finals, not impressive, man. Like I said, when LeBron James was playing on a super team in all his finals, except for 07, was the only year that LeBron James did not play in a super team. Every other year, LeBron James played in a super team, man. And yes, you could say in 2015, his super team got injured. But once again, he was up 2-1 with other guys like Timofey Mozgov, Matthew Dellavedova, Tristan Thompson, Iman Shumpert. These guys stepped up. They played up a level. Look at the games. They played up a level. They really did. But it wasn't LeBron James. Wasn't enough. He couldn't close the games out. Go watch the end of Game 4. Go watch the end of Game 5, guys. Go watch them. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.